Hello my friends, it is fantastic to see you for yet another video, and as you guys can probably imagine, since I have started this channel there have been a few occasions where I have ruffled the feathers of some Trump humping truck driver out there, because when I come on and I do these trucking videos, I come with the facts, my friends, the destruction that Donald Trump is actually causing to the trucking industry in America. And you know how it is with the MAGA movement, it is a bunch of overly emotional people that their policies are based solely on how they feel about something instead of the actual data and the facts that are going on out there. And I know what I'm up against, my friends. I imagine it's only a matter of time before the threats come in, the doxing comes in, the attempts at intimidation, the smear campaigns. I know what I'm up against, baby, but you know what? I choose to stand here no matter what happens on the right side of this argument and explain to rural America what it is, rural and working class America rather, what it is that Donald Trump is actually doing to the American people and how he is screwing us all over. So today I'm going to come to you with some more information about what's going on in trucking, and I kind of did that first part because I find it kind of humorous. You see, I've been a truck driver for a very long time, and the MAGA movement and the trucking industry are very similar in mindsets, right? It's normally like the biggest, loudest, and oftentimes dumbest motherfucker in a room that just starts shouting stuff, and a bunch of people that claim to be masculine, manly men fall in line and do what they're told. That is the MAGA movement, and that is trucking for the most part also. I've been calling out kind of the bullshit of trucking for a lot of years about how people just say stuff without even thinking about it, and that's not what we're here for today. That's not what we're here for today. We're here for the absolute carnage that Donald Trump is bringing to the truckers in America. Obviously, it's been really bad. I have come to you guys with a few observations that I have made as a truck driver, and today I'm going to come to you with hardcore facts now to back up what I've been saying this entire time. So I want to give a quick recap of the few observations I have made for you guys about what's going on out here in the trucking industry. And I know a lot of you ask me for more trucking updates. What's going on? Tell us more what's going on with trucking. And I decided I'm only going to tell you stuff when it's completely relevant, when there's actually something going on. There's no sense in me trying to make shit up or trying to push a narrative. When something happens, I am happy to tell you about it. So, some of the observations I made recently, quick recap of them, was a full truck stop when it should have been empty, when a bunch of truckers should have been working, following the trends, the things I'm used to seeing as a person that's been a truck driver for over a decade. A Monday morning and a truck stop is full of truck drivers at 10:30 a.m. all looking for something to do. That's not fucking normal, my friends. Another observation I brought you was I was at a Walmart distribution center. Those places are notoriously busy, very few spots to park your trailer, and I went into one day where there was no traffic going in and out of the damn place. It was me all by myself, and then I pulled around to the area where we drop our trailers, and there were football fields of open fucking truck parking out there for us to drop our trailers. Like, I had never seen that many open spots at a Walmart distribution center in my life. And in that video, I had said that I was out there doing donuts in my truck, and y'all thought I was joking about that. No, literally, I was out there spinning donuts in my truck because I had all that space and no one was there. I was having a good old time out there because, hell, it gave me room to kind of screw around and have a little bit of fun. Thanks, failing economy, for allowing me to act like Evel Knievel in my truck. I appreciate it so much. It wasn't dangerous. We were just out there kind of screwing around, just spinning in circles. It was fun. It was fun. And then another observation was an empty truck stop at a time when a truck stop should have been full. Just north of Denver, Colorado. Denver is a notoriously hard place to park trucks. A lot of the big cities in America are. And I'm trying to think about what I'm saying. And I pulled in there at like 6:30 at night when I should have had a really tough time parking the truck. easy breezy, baby. There was nothing to it. There was plenty of parking. And those are the observations I've made, my friends. The little canary in the coal mine type of thing. Is that how you say that? It feels like I said that wrong. Yeah, I think it's right. That kind of thing where you just kind of observe and you're like, there's something wrong here. But I have not been able to bring you necessarily the facts about everything until I checked out a report today. And we are going to talk about that, my friends, because a thing I like is the facts, right? I know there are a lot of people out there in America that will lie for Donald Trump's benefit. And to me, that's a really shocking thing, especially in this kind of business, the trucking industry, right? It does me absolutely no good to lie about what is happening to me on behalf of Donald Trump. It does not benefit me in any way whatsoever to lie about it and say that everything is good because Donald Trump said so. The reason I like to be honest about what's going on out here in trucking so people really know what's happening is because this is my livelihood, my friends. This is how I pay my fucking bills. It doesn't do me any goddamn good to lie about it at all. So I've been noticing these little telltale signs of things crashing in the trucking market, the trucking industry right in front of us. And today, my friends, some news came out that has cemented that idea in my head. A couple things have come out. Now, there's a minor thing that hasn't made a whole lot of news yet, and I'll be honest with you, it was just a post I saw over on Reddit. So this very first thing I'm going to tell you, you can take it with a grain of salt, or you can choose to look up some information on it, or whatever you want to do, because I did find that it's not making any kind of news whatsoever. But there is a freight broker out there called TQL, and they're not known for being necessarily like a great company, very honest or anything like that, but that's besides the point. Somebody had posted on Reddit today, this morning, that TQL is offering, I believe it was $2,000 buyouts to their freight brokers if they choose to resign. They're giving them a certain window to resign before I guess they would have to fire them or something, and I'm not really sure. Of course, that's probably a move by TQL to avoid paying out any unemployment or severance packages or anything like that. Hey, will you take this $2,000 and resign? We would greatly appreciate it. And I know that that particular company has been through layoffs before, especially the last time Donald Trump crashed the fucking economy with his mismanagement of COVID, which is always a thing that absolutely fucking baffles me because we watched it happen in real time, my friends. I'll give you a little bit of a history lesson. I know I've talked about this before, but we watched it happen in real time as Donald Trump denied COVID, called it a hoax, did nothing in America to prevent it from spreading. As a matter of fact, had his base so worked up that they would go to the grocery store and cough in people's faces because they were that convinced that COVID wasn't real, and also because they're shitheads. Who the fuck coughs in someone's face regardless of if a virus is real or not? These people are fucking monsters, my friends. They are assholes, right? Donald Trump, through his denial of COVID, actually created this massive boom in trucking for a very short time because a lot of people went to panic buying with the toilet paper. A lot of truckers left trucking because a lot of truckers are older and they were worried about COVID. So they're like, fuck, what do I do? And trucking was very uncomfortable for us. We weren't allowed indoors at the time. we weren't allowed inside. It was very terrible. And then there was this huge a huge spike in freight volume that needed to move around America to make up for the panic buying. The people that were being sent to work from home, that were setting up home offices, caused this massive spike in the freight and the massive spike in the freight rates in America, which is the part that truckers remember fondly, saying Donald Trump made us all rich. And for a while, you got to hear me out on this, it's true. We were making way more money than we had ever seen in our fucking lives. It was absolutely absurd. While the rest of America was burning to the fucking ground, everybody was losing their jobs and getting sick and losing their houses, and all kinds of shit was going on. Truckers were doing pretty fucking good, right? Now, I got lucky during that time because there was, I'm getting to the facts in a minute. I got more for you, don't worry. I'm giving you a history lesson, all right? I got lucky because I already was running a trucking YouTube channel where millions of Americans were concerned about what what they were going to do for an income. And a lot of people in America look to trucking as a recession proof job. And spoiler alert, we'll get to it in a minute, we found out that trucking is not recession proof. Anyways, because so many people were scrambling for a job, I actually kind of got lucky and had a video go viral and rode that fucking video for like 3 years. And no shit, it was absolutely insane. But it's not a good way to make money while people are freaking the fuck out and dying and losing their jobs. I don't know how much I appreciated that, if I'm being honest with you. But then what happened? Because so many people were scrambling for jobs and they were looking to trucking as recession proof, a lot of people flooded into trucking. Whether that be new truck drivers went and got their CDLs and decided to become a truck driver. That was one way people were doing it. And business owners that were already owned some other kind of business that they couldn't keep going through COVID, they went out and started buying semi trucks and opening up their own trucking companies so they would have some income coming in and they could still be business owners. It was wild. It was absolutely insane. So after this huge spike created by Donald Trump denying COVID and getting millions of Americans killed, 1 million Americans killed, and millions laid off their jobs, millions of motherfuckers flooded into the trucking industry to all become truckers, right? And I don't blame them. Everybody was trying to figure out what the fuck they were going to do and how they were going to survive. So I'm not mad at the people that did that, but the result of that is what matters. When that happened, it all went downhill, baby. It got real fucking bad. The freight rates went through the fucking floor. We were just hauling freight last week, not like right now last week, but then last week at like, God, depending where you were getting it, $3, $4, $5 a mile. I would run around the Pacific Northwest sometimes at $7 a mile on the short haul stuff up there because I guess that's just what they were paying. It was absolutely insane. And all of a sudden that freight falls through the fucking floor. $1.50 a mile, $2 if you're fucking lucky, right? But the problem was the supply chain was still fucked up from a global pandemic, but also because of Donald Trump's mismanagement of a fucking pandemic. And so you had the freight rates fall through the floor while diesel was through the fucking roof, right? And then you needed a sensor for your truck that used to cost $30. Now the fucking thing costs $300 because we can't get the fucking things made. They're overseas somewhere. They haven't been shipped here. And now you got to pay $300 for the fucking sensor, and you got to wait 6 weeks for the damn thing to show up. And truckers went bankrupt, baby. And you know what they did? They all tuned into Fox News and they said, will Fox News please tell me what I think of this, because I don't want to do it myself. I don't want to think about this myself. And Fox News went, blame Joe Biden, blame Joe Biden. And a lot of truckers went, fuck yeah, I fucking blame Joe Biden for every bit of this. There's your history lesson, my friends. How you like that? That's how the whole thing fucking unfolded. I watched truckers go bankrupt left and fucking right after Donald Trump's failed fucking policies. I was one of them, but I went broke too. I had to sell a truck that I owned at the time. I was down to like literally like my last $500 fucking dollars, and I sold the truck in Seattle. And I don't live anywhere near Seattle, and I had to get a rental car. And I just told you I was down to my last $500. So after I got the rental car, I was down to my last $0, my friends. Tapped me the fuck out. And I watched so many truck drivers go broke over this entire fucking thing. And people look back and say, it was all Joe Biden's fault. Fuck me. Quit lying about what's going on. And that to me is one of the most shocking things that's ever happened. And if you're all still here, I got that one other nugget of truth that you are absolutely going to love or hate depending on how you feel about it. I am going to tell you about it now. Thank you for letting me tell you that story. ADP released their job numbers today. I noticed something suspicious at the beginning of the month. Nobody was talking about job numbers whatsoever. And then I remembered, oh yeah, last month Donald Trump had terrible job numbers. And so instead of, I don't know, fixing the fucking problem that Donald Trump created, he decided to fire the person that was responsible for showing the numbers. That's it, for showing the numbers. I do not know if he replaced that person or what, but what I do know is nobody said a fucking word about the government job numbers this month. Isn't that bizarre? Because I was fully expecting that Fox News at least was going to be like, the job numbers are out and Donald Trump has added 7 trillion jobs to the United States economy, and you're all rich. It's so crazy that you're all making $1 million a month salary off of the great and glorious God Donald Trump, and they didn't even do that. They didn't even run with the propaganda that I was kind of fucking hoping for. And what had happened is, well, I don't know that they gave us the numbers, and the problem is, even if the government gives us the numbers at this point, you can't fucking trust them. You cannot, because Donald Trump didn't like the numbers a month ago, so he fired a person. So ADP is probably going to be our go-to source now, my friends, for jobs. For job numbers, and ADP did put out their numbers. Now, the main thing you need to know, overall job growth was 54,000 jobs in America. Absolutely abysmal. That is razor thin towards the economy going in reverse as far as job growth goes. 54,000 jobs in a country with this many people in it is virtually nothing. Absolutely nothing. It's a little bit of growth, though. We'll give it that, right? But they got to an interesting part, my friends. They got to an interesting part where they covered the transportation sector. ADP covered the job growth or job losses for the transportation sector last month. And the number came in at 17,000 jobs lost in the transportation sector in America. Now, tell me this. If you are 100% convinced that Donald Trump is the answer and he is here to save the American trucker and he is good for us, then how the fuck did he cause 17,000 truck drivers to lose their job last month? And the reason that is happening is because of Donald Trump's trade wars, Donald Trump's broken supply chain, the examples, the anecdotal evidence that I gave you guys last week and last month about what I'm seeing out here. Now it's reflected in the numbers. And my God, do I feel vindicated about that. I was right the entire fucking time. I knew what I saw. I knew what was happening. But how do I stand here and celebrate 17,000 truck drivers losing their jobs? And I know what the MAGA movement is thinking right now, if they're still watching this video, if they haven't already tuned out, because they get real emotional when I start going after Donald Trump. If they have not already tuned out, I already know what their answer is. They're going, you don't know what you're talking about, Josh. That's all the illegal immigrants he got off the road. That's the 17,000 bullshit. Quit trying to bullshit me. I'm not a huge fan of being bullshitted by Trump supporters especially, but in general, I don't like it. If there was really this widespread, under-the-table, non-English speaking, not legally holding a CDL truck driver running around all over America, I don't believe that would be reflected in the lost job numbers in here in America. It would all be like under the table. We wouldn't really know about it. I mean, maybe there's some impact going on there, but we wouldn't really know too much about it. We are talking about 100% American truck driving jobs in America. Donald Trump just threw this entire fucking industry in reverse. We're losing jobs now. And that's in the facts now. That's in the data. That's actually out there. All right? So, I'm out of breath. But I say all that to say, when I came to you guys a month ago, and another video 2 months ago, and another video a week or two ago, and I said, these are the observations I'm making. I told you one day I'm going to be able to tell you why those observations matter, and that I was not just bullshitting you so I could get views. The actual job data's out, and Donald Trump is costing American truck drivers their jobs as we speak, due to his trade wars, his broken supply chains, other countries looking elsewhere for other trade partners, and his full of shit, nonsensical lie about how he's bringing manufacturing back to America with absolutely zero work put in, zero attempt to bring manufacturing back to America. Donald Trump has bamboozled you again. He is costing you jobs at this point, and the data's out there. It's not about your feelings. It's not about how emotional you are, your emotional attachment to Donald Trump. The data is in. Donald Trump is costing the American truck driver their jobs right now as we speak. Anyways, got to get back to work. Love you guys. Bye now.